So there's a little bit of drama around Ryan's World, or Ryan's Toy Reviews, whatever you want to call him. I don't know much about this guy, but apparently he's young, like a kid, and he's been a kid for a very long time. Don't know how old he is, but he's been doing these toy reviews since he was about 3 years old, and it just smells like a Nickelodeon Disney situation to me. Like they're exploiting a child for money for themselves at the expense of the mental health of the person they're exploiting. Got a video here from Jack Lapidus. I think that's how you pronounce that. Ryan's World is being investigated by the feds. And I believe that he's talking about the company Ryan's World, not the guy, the kid.
I still can't believe we're talking about this 3 years later. If you did not know and you're new to the channel, hello, welcome. 3.5 years ago,
Hello.
I made a video about Rand's Toys Review, and I went into specific detail about the shady business practices that were happening behind the scenes. That video did surprisingly well for me. It turns out an awful lot of people were concerned about this child and what the hell his parents were doing, which is good to know, but also not great because no action's actually been taken since then. YouTube actually disabled the comments on that video, so there wasn't even any dialogue about what was happening, which was crap. And see, to be fair, I haven't really heard anything since then until suddenly a month ago on YouTube. Lots of these videos have been popping up on my recommendations talking about.
I think it has something to do with all the Nickelodeon, Disney stuff that's been coming out recently. And also all these family channels, because technically, isn't it his parents that run the show, and he's just the star?
About Rand being a slave. So the $1 million question is Rand's Toys Review, is he a slave? Let's have a wee look at this. So a bit of background into this creator. His name is Ryan Kaiji, and he's originally from Texas. He's 13 years old, and he has been on
13
on YouTube for 10 years, meaning he's been creating content for kids since he was 3. And obviously he's not the one recording these videos. His mum and dad were behind the scenes, and his mum and dad is called Shion and Leon Kaiji as well. Along with that, he's got 2 twin sisters, Emma and Kate, who've only recently started getting involved in the content, but now so they are more so taking the primary focus, especially when it comes to toy reviews and whatnot, which is a smart business move, I'll give them that. Once one of your kids is all used up and isn't cute anymore, fuck them in the bin, jump in the bed.
This is absolutely disgusting.
And there you go, another $100 million baby. And look, they're twins. You get.
Daddy needs a new car. Better make a video, and you better make it good. I don't think that's really what's going on. I think it's more of Ryan feels the pressure on him that he needs to continue this for everybody. And I think that's a disgusting thing. I think that is not a position that a child should be put in. And I think that his parents should be put in prison for the rest of their lives for destroying this child's future. He's gonna be messed up. All these people following him for decades. It's gonna be decades. It's 1 decade now. But in 10 years, he'll be 23, which in my opinion is still a kid. And we're really gonna know what his mental health is going to be like.
Get 2 for the price of 1. You've literally hit the monetization jackpot. Speaking of jackpot, do you know that for 3 years between 2018 and 20, they were #1 of the most paid YouTubers ever? Like, they were #1. They made more than everyone. That's how rich they are. And look, they're still on the rich list as of 2021 and 2 and 3, but they just aren't #1. I think last year they were #2. So, you know, shame on them, how fucking dare they? Won't be long now until they catch poor like the rest of us. I'm just trying to hammer home to you here. They have made more money than any of us could ever in our wildest dreams even fathom. Like, they have enough money to retire hundreds of times over. That's how rich they are. Which begs the question, why are they still making videos? I don't know if any of you actually watch the channel at all.
I can tell you why they're still making videos. Because their yacht's not big enough.
They own a lot of houses. Like, a lot. And they're not just houses, they're like mansions. I think they've done like 5 or 6 house tours in the last few years, and
Ryan's new LA house tour. Ryan's new Hawaii house tour. These his houses? Kid's 13. What's he doing with houses? How's he taking care of all these houses?
All of the houses featured definitely would cost at least 5 to 10 million, which definitely would eat into your bank account. I'd also say they're big fans of extravagant holidays. You know, the type of holidays that poor people can't afford. Yeah, they like those. And that's fine, you know.
I disagree with that when people are like, oh, poor people can't afford this. Do you know how much money this stuff costs? It doesn't cost as much as you'd think. Private jet, $10,000. How fast can you come up with $10,000? If you put your mind to it, pretty fast. If you really, really want to go on this vacation, $10,000 for private plane. You want to go to Japan? That'd probably be like $10,000 for the whole trip. I mean, you won't be able to go to no like fancy 5-star hotel, but you don't need to when you're going somewhere crazy like Japan or pretty much any other country. It's not as expensive as people think. They want to put it on like it costs tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars to take a vacation, but it don't. And you don't even have to go outside the United States. If you stay inside the United States, it's hundreds of dollars to go on vacation. You want to go to Florida, Miami Beach in Florida, which I don't recommend. Miami's terrible. It's just going to cost you a couple $100. Unless you live on the other side of the country, then it'll cost you a couple $100 more in gas to get there. Might take you a few days. How bad you want this trip? That was a weird little rant that I got on.
Work hard, play hard, but why don't you just not have them and just let your kids have a normal, regular life? Another thing that's completely unrelated to anything that we're talking about. What is going on with the dad's haircut? How has this guy got hundreds of millions in the bank account, but yet can't get a decent haircut? My guy has literally got the worst hairdo every year.
I disagree.
On repeat. He's just always got a different crap haircut.
He's rocking that Tom Dark cut, that Turkey Tom cut.
Someone please connect him with their barber, please. Maybe that's all this is about. Maybe his lust for money will stop once he has a decent haircut. This could all.
I kind of don't like this guy now. And he's talking about, oh, he needs to get a decent haircut. Like, bro, I don't care about no haircut. Like, get out of here with haircut.
All be solved with a fucking haircut. Since we're on the subject of.
Maybe his haircut, or lack thereof, is the reason he's a billionaire.
Just harshly critiquing their parents. Is the man just like looking for an acting job or something? In every single video, she's Jim Carreying the shit out of everything. In every scene, she seems like the only person that wants to be there. She seems like she just really genuinely wants to be an actress.
That's because she's the one running everything. She's running the show. She's making sure everything goes the way it's supposed to go. She's probably the one who's got her fingers in everything that's making it run. Basically forcing her family into doing all this or fail. They lose all their houses. They lose their yachts. I don't know if they have yachts, but I figure that they do. They lose their extravagant trips. They lose their crazy, amazing lifestyle, which I hope that they do lose it before it's too late. I hope Ryan gets a little bit of taste of some poverty, or he's going to be screwed, man, especially if something comes out and takes his whole company down. He ain't got nothing but this company, and he didn't even build it. So he ain't the one who's got control of it.
And look, that's completely fine, but are you saying if we just get her some acting jobs, this whole thing just stops? Mark my words, the dad gets a good haircut and the ma gets an acting job, and Rand Toy's review is free to live his life as a normal human being. So there's been a lot of controversy with this channel and the parents in particular over the last few years, but for some reason, one story that a lot of the tabloid press and YouTubers became fixated on was the fact that the mum, Luan, had been to jail at one point, and it was over stealing a pair of jeans when she was like 16, 17.
Don't
it was
care.
honestly just a big nothing burger, and you know, who hasn't done something stupid when they were younger? Although, personally, I think it was criminal that she didn't steal something a wee bit better than a pair of fucking jeans, but you know, if you're gonna commit a crime, at least go hard or go home. You know what I mean? A pair of jeans, like. I think the reason why people ran with it was the fact that there was a mugshot, so they had that perfect clickbait image.
The mugshot is all it takes for people to be like criminal. That's why they tried to put Trump in jail. That's why they got a Trump mugshot. Is because all they needed was that picture for everybody to see him as a criminal. Because you see that picture and you see criminal. Well, I don't. I see that and I see Jimi Hendrix and other figures like that. So
They could use about the fact that she had been to jail, but in proper context, it's just like, sure, you want to talk about the child exploitation? Do we really want to talk about the fact that Ma stole a pair of jeans like 20 years ago? Is that really important? I think the more important story to talk about is just their lack of respect of following the guidelines. For example, in 2017, Karoo, Children's Advertising Review Unit, they had actually examined the channel and basically said, look, yous are not disclosing advertisements correctly. This needs to be done in a way that kids can understand. Ryan is talking about a product because you're being paid to do so. In the space of that all coming out, the data come out and says that they, will follow the.
I think you just need to not market to kids at all because nobody can get it right and everybody screws it up and everybody ends up exploiting the kids. So just pull the kids out. We have AI, we have animation, just CGI in a kid. I would rather see that than kids being exploited. Like, this shit pisses me off that we can't get this right. And it's so simple. Everybody can see it, but there's one thing in the way. There's one thing blinding them. Money, 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 money.
This correctly, we'll do what we gotta do. Don't worry about it. They didn't do anything. So 2 years later, there was a complaint submitted to the Federal Trade Commission, because they still hadn't done anything about it. Um, then, of course, obviously, they decided they have to do something about it because you can't have the feds on you. Like, I think in the end they took the proper steps in order to rectify that, because since 2019, when the complaint was submitted, there's been no updates whatsoever. So I'm assuming the crisis is avoided. Although I do think maybe the feds should come back and maybe check and see if there's anything happening with, a wee bit of child exploitation, maybe. I'm sorry.
I hope that this guy's video doesn't make you think that my video is bad, because this guy's video is bad. Straight up clickbait. I thought the feds are investigating Ryan's World. No, they're not, apparently. Apparently, they did investigate them and found that there wasn't really anything to look into. And that's not what this video led me to believe. This is clickbait. Dude was talking about dude's haircut. Don't care about that haircut. He seems like a douche to me. I don't like this guy.
I don't know what it is. America just seemed to love a wee bit of on the slide child exploitation. It just seemed to always let it slide. I have no idea why. Right,
America? Who the fuck you talking about? America. This ain't America we're talking about. This is an international organization. Ryan's World is international. This is not America. These companies are not American, even though they're technically supposed to be American. Like, YouTube is an American company. That's not. They're international. Americans don't like this shit.
Juice of the video.
I don't like this guy.
Is Ryan a slave? There's a problem when your child isn't allowed to ever be in an interview by himself. You're always lurking in the background and poking him, controlling him, and making sure he doesn't say something he shouldn't say. Like, every time Ryan is interviewed, they're always there and present and guiding the interview, just kind of, joking past certain things that are said that you really do actually want an answer to. I do genuinely believe we are witnessing the end of Rand's Toys review. I think it's went on.
I give it 3 years. I think about the time when he's 15, 16, he starts driving, he starts thinking about girls, there will be a pivot. There will be a change. They won't be able to use Ryan anymore for this toy stuff. It's Ryan's World for kids. It's gonna go away. They're gonna have to do something else. He's gonna have to do something else, and they're gonna have to figure it out quick. Hopefully, they've already got it figured out, because 3 years ain't enough time to change your whole like $1 billion company.
For just too long, and you can really see that the tide is starting to change with online public opinion about this situation. Ryan is 13, and if you watch the videos, he never really looks like he wants to be there. In fact, a lot of people actually say he often looks really sad, which is just, it's actually depressing.
I'm gonna have to see
Like,
that.
just let him go to school, let him have a normal life. It's not too late. Like, you've got your coin, leave it. I do think there's an awful lot of pressure on Ryan though to maintain the status quo of the channel. This channel is
True.
a juggernaut of creating revenue. If Ryan's gone, who knows whether or not that's going to be able to maintain itself. The brand will eventually
won't.
burn out, surely. Ryan,
The brand's gonna burn out eventually anyway. It's starting to. It has been since before the sickness that happened a few years ago.
obviously was very enthusiastic, very hands-on. He was the star of the show after all. And thinking back to when I was that age, I don't know if I was a goody two-shoes or not, but I always just wanted to make my parents happy and proud. I would have done anything to make them happy and proud. I don't know whether his heart is really in it anymore. I think he's literally just doing it because he feels like he has to for his parents' sake, and down the road that is going to lead to an awful lot of resentment.
If you were to make
And what's he gonna do? What else is he gonna do in the future? Like this dude, he should be brought up as like creator. Is he creating anything, or is he just a star? Like, is he gonna become an actor? Is he gonna build stuff? Is he gonna have his own YouTube channel where he does his own stuff that's outside of Ryan's World?
a summer playlist with 4 artists, who would it be?
I don't really listen to individual artists, but my mom really loves Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift, so those two would definitely be on there.
Personally, I hope they just finish. That's it, done. They pull it all. They stop doing it with their kids as well and just say, look, we are second generation immigrants and we've done really well for ourselves. Our parents would be proud. We are living the American dream. Let's just take our money and just enjoy it and have some generational wealth for the next few years. Time will tell whether or not they stick to that, but that's personally what I think is probably going to happen. I don't think Rand's in it anymore, and I think people can see that.
Somebody's gonna have to save this kid. Somebody's gonna have to help him build some stuff, because once Ryan's World is done for, and it's coming soon, when he gets a little bit older, when he starts growing in a mustache, it's gonna be less of a kid's channel and more of a teenager channel, and they're gonna have to make some changes, or it's all gonna fall apart. And what are the parents gonna do when they can't be running the show anymore because Ryan is an adult and they can't exploit him anymore? They'll probably keep trying to exploit him. Oh man, there's gonna be so many issues arising in the future from this.